Hey everybody and welcome. I'm so pumped to have you joining us tonight. Sarah Kroger and I have kind of joined forces right now to bring something really special to you guys to help the team grow. And it's called the Freedom Academy. It is going to be an amazing opportunity for y'all. And so tonight she's going to lean in and fire you guys up and get you pumped and ready to go with what this is about and what it is and what it's not. Our team is growing to a place where this is necessary, which is super exciting. And I know it's going to bring a lot of great tools to your toolbox, and you will recognize as our team grows and more coaches rise up to become diamond leaders, they will be helping to lead the Freedom Academy too, because it's a way for the leaders on our team who've achieved this level in their business to pour back into the team to help you achieve levels in your business. So if you're not, applying yet for cathedral builders and you're an emerald coach and have those desires, get that application in, because that's the environment you want to be in to help you get there. But I'm really grateful that she's taken the reins tonight to really pump us up. Buckle up. She's been listening to Josh Coates all week. I got my pen ready. I still, after 6 years, take notes. And every time this girl talks, I take tons of notes. You should see our coffee talk. I'm like taking notes when we hang out. So thank you, Sarah. Go ahead and take over, girl.
All right, here we are. Okay, so like Kelly said, I'm Sarah Kroger, and for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be sharing with you this Freedom Academy. And the whole idea, we'll mark the posts in the team page, and the whole idea is just to get your train moving. So anytime you start a new job, whether you're working at a restaurant and you have to learn the menu, or you're working somewhere and you have to learn a new system, you might have to put a little bit of extra effort in at the beginning to learn the things that you need to have in order to be successful at your job. If you think about it like starting a train, they need to use a little more fuel and a little more time right at the beginning to get the train going before it has any momentum to carry it. And that's kind of what our vision for this Freedom Academy was. These steps, these things that you need to do as a new coach, or a person digging in for the first time, or a person coming back after being gone for a while, when you want to build traction in your business and have a business. So like Kelly said, I am a diamond coach, and I'm not going to go into rank necessarily, but what that means for the purposes of this is that I'm committed to helping you hit your goals. So in addition to having my own challengers and selling challenge packs and things like that, I am also committed to training coaches and helping you hit your goals in your business. So I want to talk to you a little bit. We're going to start with some of those goals and talk to you about what you had in mind when you started coaching, and encourage you to think about these next couple of weeks with this Freedom Academy as the beginning of this, where you can really hone that and decide what you're going to do with it. Because we don't want you to be working all day long. We don't want you to have it take a lot of time. We want to give you some specific focused tasks for a specific reason, because we all have goals, and your success for those goals is doing the behaviors. We call it phase one versus scrolling or making a perfect post. What we want you to focus on is those phase one behaviors that are going to get your business off and going. Because your business comes from your conversations and your invites, not from the perfect post. And posting is important. Having a social media presence is important, but where you really are going to have a business and have challengers and coaches who join your team is going to be through those individual conversations that you're going to have. So I wanted to ask you, when you said yes to coaching, what is it that you wanted from it? What was going through your mind when you said yes to your coach who invited you to join this team? And why did you want it? So if you wanted whatever it was, and that can change. When I started, I wanted a discount. We're a military family. I could sign up without having to pay a monthly fee, and I could get a discount on my product while I worked on my journey. And that has changed over time to now I'm building a full-time income and creating a legacy for my family, for my future. I'm creating a vision and an opportunity for other moms, other people to find their purpose in their lives. And so my vision is completely changed from where I started. And that's fine. That happens as your seasons change. But I want you to think when you started, because we're talking about new coaches or people who are digging in for the first time, what is it that you wanted out of coaching when you first started? And why? Because that's really what's going to drive this. Because your success comes from a service mindset. How can you know your story and use your story to serve other people? And we all have that story on day one. Right now, you have to tell the story you have, even if it's not yet the story you want. And you're thinking, what does this have to do with new coaches? Like, I just need to memorize the menu so that I can tell people whether they want scrambled eggs or hard eggs with their breakfast meal. You know, that was a terrible metaphor, but go with me because you're learning how to do the job. But this is it, learning how to share what you have learned with other people is so key. And remembering that you have something to offer right from the beginning. No matter what it is, no matter where you are, where you start, you might even be saying, like, I'm not 100% sure of all the ins and outs of this, but we can learn together. It hurts me. It hurts my heart when I hear new coaches say, like, I haven't hit a certain level of success, so I can't invite to my team. I'm not a finished product, so I can't invite to my group. Guys, you don't get to have a certain level of your team without inviting to your team. Kelly said that last week on something we were talking about on one of our calls. And it was so true that you have to value where you are right now and choose to believe that somebody wants to be where you are. Because the voice that you hear in your head that says you don't have enough experience is a lie. Because what you're offering right now is the story that you have right now, even if it's not the story that you want to have in the future. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here, but we can do this together. Or I've only been on this team for a month, but already I feel fill in the blank. You have to start thinking about your story and your experience and be willing to invite people into that. Your journey as a coach, your journey is always first. People don't need you to know everything or be a finished product, but they need to believe that you're committed and see you starting to make changes. We are all, at some point, some of us more than others, a big old hot mess. But if I make all of my posts about how disastrous my life is over and over and over again, that's not showing a whole lot of growth. I can be honest and I can share when I have bad days, because you never stop having bad days and you never stop having negative thoughts. But I need to make sure that I'm working on my journey. I'm working on my health and fitness, and I'm working on my mindset. That always has to be first so that I can show people that I am committed to doing this with them. I am committed to making changes and getting better in my weak areas. I'm learning out loud. I am sharing what I'm going through. Maybe not exactly as I'm going through it, maybe a beat later when I'm not right in the middle of it, but I'm sharing what I'm going through so that I can show people, because they're not perfect either. And so they don't need me to be perfect, but they need me to be working in a positive direction and always be committed to my journey. So Beachbody has what they call vital behaviors. There are 4 vital behaviors, and they are the things that every coach should be doing all the time. And they are being the product of the product, which is what I just talked about, making sure that you're on your journey, inviting, because that's how you get people to join your challenge group or join your team, recognition, which we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about, but whether it's recognizing challengers in your group, or when you have a team, recognizing other coaches on your team who are doing a good job, whether they're hitting rank or sharing well on social media. Just like you see in our team page, Kelly will share, this was a great post from somebody, or, congratulations to so-and-so for hitting this milestone. We do that for our challengers and for our coaches. And then the last one is personal development, making sure that you are always working on something to better your mindset. So as a team right now, we're reading The Compound Effect. Mine just came into the library yesterday, so I have to get it tomorrow so I can start reading it. But we're reading The Compound Effect as a team. So if you don't have anything to read for personal development right now, get a copy of The Compound Effect. Either order it from Amazon, get it from the library, see if a friend has it to borrow, and read that with us. And it's actually a great thing for this month because we're going to talk about some of the compound effect tonight on the team call that's at 8:30. And then next week, we're going to talk about not exactly the compound effect, but it's going to be those behaviors again over time that compound into success. In order to invite people to your team, you have to think about who you can invite. So let's make a list. When you think of our team, when you think of your challenge group that you're in, when you think of health and positive mindset in general, who comes to mind as somebody that would benefit from one of those things? Write them down. Who is it that pops into your head as soon as I say that? And remember, you aren't scamming people here. You have something that is changing your life. And some people on your list aren't people who are going to get an invite right away. It could just be somebody that you need to send a text message to that, hey, I'm thinking about you. You popped into my mind tonight and I wanted to check and see how you were doing. This isn't like I'm going to make you take everybody on the list and send him an invite right off the bat. Just whoever it is pops into your mind. I believe God puts those people in your mind for a reason, and we'll figure out why later. But right now, just get them on the list. That said, I really don't believe there's anyone who doesn't need something that we offer, who doesn't need some support and accountability, who doesn't need to work on their mindset, their nutrition, their fitness. Even people who don't have any weight to lose might have strength to gain. People who aren't able to work out might be able to work on their nutrition. People who have been gym rats, but they've done it because they punish their body, and what they really need is some personal development and mindset shifting and a supportive group that can teach them to love this vessel that they're in versus beating it into submission. I don't believe there's anybody who wouldn't benefit from something that we have to offer. And my job is to figure out what it is and how I can share my story in such a way that they can find themselves in that and find a home here. That doesn't mean that I have to invite everybody, but it does mean that I need to always be listening to what will serve them well. That said, when I get nervous about inviting, or when I wonder whether or not to invite someone, or I get scared about that particular person, I have to say, who am I to leave someone stuck on their couch in their before pick because I'm afraid to invite them? If I really believe that this community, that these challenge groups, that these programs, I am a huge believer in 2B mindset. Doesn't mean I don't like the containers. It just means I really do like 2B mindset. If it has had such a life-altering impact on me, then who am I to not share that with somebody? I'll share my lipstick preferences, but I'm not going to share something that's completely altered my literal future just because I'm nervous about what they might say. When I think about it that way, I realize how selfish it is for me to live in that fear. And frankly, where I might need to do a little bit more mindset work. That might need to be my next personal development if I'm afraid to share something out of fear of judgment or whatever it is. So look at that list that hopefully you've actually been writing down as we've been talking. And look at the people who are on there. And like I said, some of them, they might just need a little bit of a love bomb from you. Somebody might just need a little bit of a, how you doing? You came to mind. I wanted to check on you. Or it could be somebody that just moved or just had a baby or just changed their job or got married or whatever. Just how's it going? And that's really all it is. Because remember, this is the thing that sets this apart for me from other companies is how I'm building a relationship and a really service minded concept of relationship with people. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be my new best friend, but it does mean that I really honestly do want to serve them. And maybe what they need is some crock pot meals because it's soccer season and life is hard. Or maybe what they need is just somebody to say, you know, I really struggled after my first baby and I hear you. I hear how hard it is. Or whatever. They might just need a word of encouragement. But hopefully on that list, there are some people that pop to mind for you who might specifically need exactly what our community has to offer right now. Some help with their nutrition, some help with their workouts, and a community of accountability to help them stay focused on what they said their goals were. So I want you to look at that list and star 3 people on it that you're going to invite before Sunday. Because on Monday, we are starting prep for our new challengers, and we're starting our Freedom Academy. We're officially kicking it off tonight, but we're starting these things, the official post. So if you look at somebody who needs a business opportunity, somebody who needs a job, and you want to invite them to learn this with you, do not be afraid to be a brand new coach and invite somebody to coach with you. Because you can say to them, I just started. I don't know any of this. I'm getting ready to go through this academy that my coach is running. You want to go through it with me? And you guys can learn together. Because it will be your responsibility to check in on your challengers, to check in on your coaches, and to make sure that they know where to find the things that they're doing. But it is not your responsibility to know everything right from the beginning. I've been coaching for several years, and I have an amazing team around me, and I still message my coach and ask them where to place new coaches. And I still message my coach and say, I don't know what to say to this person. Can you help me? Because we're always a team. And so you have the value, the assets around you to fill in those gaps until you learn those things. Because you don't have to explain rank and volume and all these kinds of things to all of your new coaches when you don't even know what that means. You haven't even been a coach long enough to collect a paycheck. There's no way you can fully explain the comp plan. Great news. We've got a video for that. And we can help you. You know what I mean? You have several levels of leadership around you. You have new coaches. You have, Kelly talked about at the beginning, for people who are starting to build their team, who are starting to step into some leadership roles. And then you have people who have a bigger team who are solidly committed to helping new coaches get their feet under them. You've got so much around you, so you do not need to be nervous about inviting somebody to join you. So look at that list. Who are those 3 people that you are going to, if you're feeling bold, put their names in the chat so that we can pray for them and that we can pray for you and support you in that. And I want you to really, before you let your fear creep in, say, I'm going to invite these people before Sunday night so that they can join you right from the beginning with our new challenge group and our new coach training. Okay, I'm going to get a few more minutes. I want to give you just the nitty gritty of what you actually do. So it's like, oh, that's great, Sarah. I'm a servant, blah, blah, blah. What do I actually do as a coach? Well, you follow a program because your journey is always first. You drink your Shakeology because your journey is always first. You share what you're doing on social media with your friends, with your people around you. And then you commit to doing power hours. You get to decide what level of business that you want. But if you want to build a business, you need to have a consistent power hour or power half hour. When you first start, you do not need to be working for hours and hours and hours a day. I worked a lot today because I'm doing a lot of planning, but I do not work for hours and hours and hours and hours a day. So you really shouldn't. If you are, then you're not being efficient with your time, and you need to talk to your coach about how to be more efficient with your time. But I also will tell you that if you only work 1 power hour a week, you're going to lose a lot of continuity of conversations, or you're going to end up working and not tracking. So you really need to decide how many power hours you're going to do. And I would really recommend it be 3 to 5 a week, because that will give you some consistency of touching base with people. So if someone messages you, then you don't respond to them for like a whole nother week, it's not really a conversation. And it's not really, you don't really get a chance to know them and serve them well, whether it's through a challenge group or just as a friend. If you don't talk to people regularly, then you're going to lose things. You just are. Ask me how I know. So look at that 3 to 5 power hours a week, or power half hours a week, and commit to that. Decide ahead of time when you're going to do it, just like you decide when you're going to do your workout. And then in our team page, there are units, and there's everything you've ever wanted to know about coaching in those units. And they're very systematically set up. So after you've done some of your initial stuff with your coach, you can go through those units and get a lot of information. But in unit 2, there's a 2, 2, and 2 tracker. And that is a great first tracker for you to use during your power hours. And that means you add 2 people, you have 2 new conversations, and you send out 2 invites. And you would do that for every one of your power half hours. If you can't send 6 little messages in a half an hour, then you are either overthinking it and just need to take a deep breath. Again, ask me how I know. Or you are being inefficient and you're squirreling and scrolling and all those kinds of things. Just doing that 2, 2, and 2, that's the compound effect. If you do 2, 2, and 2, and then you get confident and you want to increase it to 3, 3, and 3, or 5, 5, and 5, and that's a manageable amount, and you don't get overwhelmed, that's a great way to scale up, especially if you're trying to build. But inviting 2 people and following up with some people each day is a really good way to get conversations going. And you will find people who come out of nowhere that you had no idea needed something that you had to offer, but because you're talking to them, it uncovers that. And make sure you track it. Again, from experience, when you start and you're talking to 2 people each day, you're like, oh, I can remember 2 people. And then you're talking to 4 people or 6 people, and you're like, oh, I can scroll back through 10 messages and not lose anybody. Yeah, that might be true. But let's go back to the compound effect. The whole concept of that entire philosophy is that you do a little bit each day and it compounds, it grows. Believe me, it does. And suddenly you have more conversations. Very quickly, you have more conversations that you can keep track of, and you lose people. And then suddenly somebody comes back up and you go to message them and you realize the last time you messaged them was 1.5 years ago, and they might have been somebody who was interested and needed your help. And either they totally dropped off, or they, went and joined somebody else. I can't tell you when I first started, because I didn't track, how many people would tag me in their successes with another company, because I had messaged them and I had talked to them and I had gotten them all excited to make a change, and then I disappeared and I didn't follow up. And so they were ready, and then somebody from some other organization swoops in and was like, look at you, you're ready to go. And they're like, yes, I am ready to go. That's Sarah Kroger. She got me all fired up. Let's do this. You know what I mean? That you do not want that to happen. I mean, it might, because life happens, but when it happened because I didn't message them back, when I didn't follow up, or I was too afraid to ask, that really sucks. So make sure that you're tracking. Make sure you're tracking and write it down. There are a million options. Do not try to look at them all and evaluate. Just start with that 2, 2, and 2 tracker and use it. And then when you're ready to graduate from that to something different, then talk to your coach about what to use. I don't use that 2, 2, and 2 tracker because I talk to more people than that now. I have a different system I use, but I follow the same formula. It's just the numbers are a little bit different. I don't say anything different to new people now than you're going to say to new people this week. I just talk to more people. But remember, with any new skill or job or experience, it can feel like a lot at first. But don't feel like you need to take on the entire world on day one. Your journey is first. Then you do the 2, 2, and 2 and track it. And then you work on the stuff that we're going to talk about from the Freedom Academy. That's it. And if you get overwhelmed because you feel behind, then just stop. You work on your journey first. Then you do your 2, 2, and 2. And then you do the next thing for the Freedom Academy. That's it. You guys, you got this. This is not, it's very simple. You have to treat it like a business if you want it to treat you like a business. If you want it to be a business, then you have to treat it like that. But it's very, very simple. Okay, guys? We have to go because we've got an amazing call. Don't you leave. I'm just going to stop the recording and move on. But if you have any questions, I'll still be here and you can message Kelly or your coach, or you can post something in the team page and we will get back to you because I know that was a lot of information. But don't feel like you have to take on the entire world all at once. Kelly, do you have anything before I stop the recording?
No, I just took 3 pages of notes.
All right, guys. I love you. I'm going to stop the recording so that we can get ready for our next thing.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. You did it.